Hey, Polly.
Hey Greg, how are you?
Doing all right. Yourself?
Pretty good. Pretty good. We need to get this AC fixed in here though. I'm melting.
It is pretty calm and warm in here, but I know I'm the only one who favors this weather. So,
Yeah.
all right. But today we have Turnaround Ministries on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have Cheryl Robinson. She's the president over there, or we know it more as TAM, as
Yeah.
we call it around here.
Yeah.
But Cheryl's going to be on and tell us all about, what work TAM is doing and some programs and services they got going on.
Terrific. I hear about them a lot. I want to hear about the nitty-gritty.
Yeah. So without further ado, joining us today on Totally Preventable, we are joined by Cheryl Robinson, the president of Turning Around Ministries. Cheryl, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing just fine. I'm glad to be here on Totally Preventable. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Right. We're looking forward to having you. So, Cheryl, to start us off, like we normally do, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today?
Well, a little about myself. I got to this point because I was at church one day and a chaplain at the prison made an announcement about trying to get churches to adopt an inmate. And at that point in time, I was like, not doing it, not my idea of fun, don't go to prisons. But I challenged God that day. And I said, if you want me to do something like this, I need a human being to tell me. Not, we don't do what people tend to say, the still small voice and coming to tell you something. I'm like, I need a human. And I got just that. I was talking to somebody and they looked at me and they were like, oh, God told me to tell you, you need to do this.
Mm.
And I'm here to help you. And I'm looking kind of dumbfounded because I was like, that's not what I know what I said, but I was kind of hoping that wasn't going to happen.
Mm.
And then I say, God has a sense of humor because I had a 14-year-old son at that time who we were walking to the car and he looked at me and said, did you volunteer for that thing yet? I'm like, what thing? He's like, what was announced in church? Everybody knows you're supposed to do it. You're the only one that don't know. And I'm like, okay, this is the 14-year-old that can't take care of himself. How is he going to tell me what I need to do? And from that point on, it was like, I just knew what to do because I didn't have a clue going into this. But I realized right after then that it wasn't enough to just adopt one inmate because there's a whole lot of other ones out there. So I came up with the help of others this idea of doing something on a greater scale. And that was in 2004 is when we started planning. And we opened our doors in July of 2005.
So did you ever adopt the one inmate or did you just jump right into the whole plan?
We just jumped right into the whole plan.
That's great. TAM has a strong reputation for its reentry services and community outreach. For those people that are unfamiliar with what you do, can you give us a little rundown?
Well, we are a prison aftercare community outreach organization. We are faith-based. I will explain that later. But our goal when we started was just to mentor people and provide moral support and kind of help them navigate to know what resources are available out there. And then we kind of started looking at it and realizing that there were people needed a little bit more help. And so what we have always tried to do is not duplicate services of other organizations. So we looked and saw, oh, nobody's doing this. Everyone looks at the major things, but no one was looking at the smaller things like an ID or a birth certificate, those major things you need. What to do when a person can't go to the shelter, or there's no beds in the shelter, or whatever. What do you do? So how are people supposed to get around? So we started addressing those type things.
Now, I know Cheryl from a little ways back. I don't know if you remember how we know each other, but she's always been the one to get involved. I met Cheryl at the Rotary. We were at Newport Rotary together. And whenever we had polo night, Cheryl was, all right, I'll do this. There we had the Thanksgiving, the food drive. All right, I'll make sure I go and do the shopping for everything, and always being the one to step up and take care of those things. So thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. My question for you, the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics reports that nearly 2/3 of people released from prison are rearrested within 3 years. How is TAM working to break that cycle?
We try to reduce or eliminate the barriers. So we provide emergency housing. And again, going back to what I said earlier, getting them their ID, birth certificate, providing transportation, whether it's personally or using the public transit system. Just helping people access the resources, because if you don't take care of those little things, how are they going to be productive? We also try to tell others, enlighten the greater community, to look at people as people, not look at it based on what crime they may have committed or what their circumstances may be. Because even though our primary population that we focus on has been those who have been involved in the criminal justice system, we also help the homeless, because we realized that most of the people and we got into that because most of the people getting out of prison were unhoused. And then we started looking at the statistical data of the people that we were coming in contact with, and realizing this doesn't just apply to this one population, that others in the wider community could benefit from it. And because of what we were doing for the population we started out focusing on, they had relatives who may or may not, and friends who may or may not have been involved in criminal justice system, but they still needed help. To something that you haven't asked me, but I'm gonna throw it in here right now. We're unique in that we look at the whole person, and we're just here to help. It's not typical case management, maybe 2 to 3 hours, period, a week, month, whatever. you might spend 15 minutes with someone. We go the extra mile. People come to us, may say, I need help with my electric bill. We just don't say, oh, here, let us write a check and we'll pay your electric bill. No, how did you get into this predicament in the first place? What can we do to help you take care of this problem? If it involves calling Rhode Island Energy with you and setting up a payment plan and helping you to make sure you can follow that payment plan, because a lot of people agree to something that they're not understanding what they're agreeing to, and then they can't meet that, and then they're back in the same predicament they were in the first place. So we're just not, some things are quick. We can do it, see you once for an hour at the most and be done. But we have had people we've worked with for 9 months, 2 days a week, 2 to 3 hours a day. We're not open but 6 hours. So you just spend half your day. But it took that kind of commitment to solving the problem.
Mhm.
And that's what we're here to do. Help solve the problem, not put a Band-Aid on it, not give a quick fix that's temporary. We're in here for the long haul, and people realize we care. It's not just, so you have to show that, going back to the original question, we show people that we care about them. They're not in this alone.
Mhm.
And that's the difference, because you have to build trust and you have to look at the person as being a person.
Mhm.
I had someone walk in the door and say, they were frantic, I'm an ex-con. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, okay, who are you? And again, he repeated, I'm an ex-con. And by the third time I asked the question, I said, I didn't ask what you did. I didn't ask anything about that. I asked, who are you? What is your name? That's all I care about right this moment.
Right. Right.
And then he calmed down and realized, I need to know you. I care about you, not right now. I'm not worried about what you did. Just how can I help you? And that's what we're all about. That's how you change things. But in order to change things, you have to have the person in a stable living environment.
Mhm.
That's what's going to change the results, because you can't change something when somebody's housing is unstable.
Yeah. So how does your team navigate stigma and barriers around formerly incarcerated people?
Well, that's a good question. We help people prepare themselves as to how to explain their situation, because we try to approach it from two sides, but one side being the person, the participant, because if you can't handle what people are going to say to you, then there's going to be a problem. Because if you react and you react the way they think you're going to react in the first place, you just fueled their inaccurate thoughts. On the other side, we get invited to go to different events or whatever and talk, because we're trying to change the attitude of the community. Because if we can get the community to stop thinking the way they're thinking and looking at people as people, not by what they did, then it'll work better. But because people always ask me, what's the biggest barrier? And I said, us.
Yep.
We're the barrier because people own the property. People own the businesses that hire people. If we don't change that aspect, nothing is going to change. But, and it's hard to keep motivating people when they keep hitting their head against the wall.
What types of partnerships has TAM developed? Like with either law enforcement or local government, any type of partnerships?
Well, one thing we do is, I'm gonna say, especially in Newport, we try to meet with the mayor, whoever the new mayor is, to tell him or her who we are and what we do. Because we want our government representatives to make informed decisions. And they can't make one if they don't know who you are and what you do. So if we do something, we invite them to come and learn about us. We've had in the past relationships with the director of the prison, with people in the reentry aspect at the prison. They've undergone and are still undergoing some changes in personnel. So we haven't met the new person yet that's over the reentry, but that's the plan. We know the probation supervisor for Newport County. We know the probation officers. We can call them if, somebody needs some help, or we're concerned that we haven't seen someone, or they're concerned they haven't seen someone. And so we are in communication with each other. We're in the process of trying to reestablish a reentry council, which was made up of organizations in the county, Newport Mental Health, Kodak, EBCAP, the police, and TAM. So we're trying to, and probation. Sorry. We're trying to get that started. It kind of fizzled out because of COVID. But we're trying to build that back up again.
Can you tell us a little bit how faith works into TAM and what you all do?
Well, for me, if I didn't have faith, I wouldn't be doing this. I can find some other things I could be doing, but it's because of that faith is why I can deal with the circumstances that happen, because it gets hard out there sometimes. And we want people to know we care about them. I'm not here to convert anybody to any particular religion. That's not what we're here for. Ministry in this case means serving. And that's what we're here to do, is serve. So, yes, do I pray about a lot of things? Yes, I do. if someone were to ask me to pray for them, I would. But I don't initiate conversations.
Mhm.
I let people tell me what they, the conversation that I have with people and the staff have people is, okay, how can we help you? That's my first question. How can I help you?
So people can come to TAM no matter what their religion or faith is.
Yes.
Now, TAM has grown tremendously in visibility over the past few years. What are some of the most impactful success stories that define the legacy of TAM?
I'm gonna kind of start with what I said a few minutes ago about people being tired and understanding the people that we're trying to serve. We're asking people to change their way of thinking, change who their friends are. We're asking people that don't know us to trust us, that we are there for you. And that's a lot, because think about it. Would you just, a total stranger, say, oh, let go of everybody you know and come trust us?
No?
That's not going to happen. But that's what we're asking people to do. And it's difficult at times. I'm not going to lie. And if we are able, once we are able to have those success stories, it does motivate us to keep going. And to give you an example, a person came in, they wanted to do community service. They wanted to volunteer. Let me change that, because I have to use two different words. Volunteer service, because community service, we kind of make sure we know that's court ordered,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
that you fulfilling some obligation that the court has put out there, and we refer to it as volunteer because nobody's making you show up.
Yep.
And the person came in saying they wanted to volunteer. Did I know any place they could volunteer to do something? Because they had time on their hands, they needed something to do. By the time I finished talking to the person, yep, we got them. I told them where they can go do some volunteer services. But I'm like, oh, you need your GED? Oh, let's try that. Oh, you got this back? Okay, let's start here. And they were looking at me. I'm like, yeah, you came in here for one thing, and we already covering a whole lot of other things. The person ended up getting their GED, got a job, was one of the best volunteers in the soup kitchen you could ask for. And they had a criminal background. They had been in prison and done all this stuff. But the person had such a good heart. And when they got the letter saying they had passed their GED and they were going to graduate, they didn't want to tell anybody. And we're all at soup kitchen. And he told me, I'm like, oh yeah. And I went, of course, blabbing it to everybody else. And he didn't realize how much we cared about him at soup kitchen.
Mhm.
Soup kitchen staff showed up at his graduation with gifts, financial gifts. And he's looking like not expecting that, because he just looked at, oh yeah, I'm helping these ladies in here in the soup kitchen, not realizing just how much we cared about him. And that's what it was all about. Just because he came to Tam's office talking about doing some volunteer service, he got a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. A mother coming in needing some emergency housing because another organization had put her and her kids up for as long as they could, but they couldn't keep it up. We started, what else is going on? Oh, I need this. I have this certification in another state. I need this. In turn, we helped her get that certification. We found out what had to be done in Rhode Island, got that, put the person up for a few weeks while we also worked within the coordinated entry system, the system for getting emergency housing and things for people. Worked within that system, got her into a shelter with her family. That's what we do. Was it easy? No. But it took time. It took about a couple of months, but we took the time to do that. And that's what motivates us. Again, talking about our third, since I added a story, because when I wasn't supposed to, I wasn't gonna add, but I added it. Our third thing is we have another part of TAM is called PASS, Planting a Seed for Success. It's a multi-week program that we do to help people who have no job history or haven't worked in a while and need to get motivated to get out there and do something. We have that. Having someone graduate from that program and see them connect with people in that profession. And then found out this week they actually got a job that they want, the one they wanted, they got. And it pays pretty good. You know, it was being able to do that counters the other ones that we can't get that gratification from real fast. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't. Because that's the hard part about doing this job. I have been to enough funerals that I really don't like it.
Mhm.
And we need that light, those stories to keep us going, knowing that, okay, you can't, and knowing we can't save anybody. We can only do what we can do. That we're making some impact, because by adding just one person, because when we first started, people used to say, oh, give me your success stories. How many success stories should you have? Any kind of success story, even from people asking because of our name and everything, how many people have joined the church? I don't know. I'm not there for that. Even they always ask about the number of success stories. And my thing has been, if I change one person's situation in some positive manner, then we are successful. Because if I did not feel that way, when we first started, I would have quit a long time ago. Because when we first started, we helped 27 people in a year. 27 does not seem like a whole lot, and it's not. Last year, we helped 321 people.
Mm.
Wow, amazing.
And that's the people that came into our office. That's not including their spouses if they have one, their children. So, you could double, triple that.
Right.
It's the point of, again, we stay focused on the one, because it's so easy. Now I'm going into a biblical standpoint here of the shepherd watches the flock, takes care of the flock sheep or whatever, and he leaves the 99 to go after the one that is strayed off, because the 99 are going to be okay. They're not going anywhere. But you have to go after the one, and letting that one know just how important they are that's what motivates us, that they know, even if they don't agree. Because I've had people tell me, Cheryl, I know you care about me, but I've said, okay, long as you got that first part right, you know I care about you. So we cool. Do you? I can't make you do anything, but I want you to know we're there, and we're not going anywhere, whether you do the right thing or not. Because we all make mistakes, and sometimes we have, think about when you were a kid. You didn't always. Some people learn the lesson the first time their parents told them not to do something. Sometimes you had to learn that lesson after you've done it a couple of times.
Yep.
Before you really realized it. Not a good idea. Maybe I should try something else. So nothing has changed. We as adults do the same thing. We have to we want to be on repeat for a minute. But as long as you got somebody there caring about you and you know it, then we good.
Right.
That's awesome. Is there any plan to replicate TAM in other parts of the state, or are there any other programs that do a similar thing?
We were the first of our kind in the state. Because one, we're faith-based. And they're the only other major entity. They're now grown in Providence, not in any place else. But in Providence, there's other ones, but they're not necessarily faith-based. There are a couple of faith-based ones, but on this island, no. And replicating it, I'm gonna say no. And I say that because we're 90%. Oh, no, I'm not gonna say that. We're 67% there. And I say that because I'm thinking of a three-legged stool. Right now, we only got two. And that's because we need housing. We have to have the housing. And until we take care of that issue, then no, we're not there yet. We know how to do it. We just need to be able to do it. And when I say we, I'm not just talking TAM, because I'm not trying to be one-stop shopping for anybody. I want one-stop shopping, but I want it to be one-stop shopping with 4 entities in the same building.
Yep.
Not, let me go next door. We kind of have that where we are now, in that we share a space with another organization, Housing Hotline. And so it's easy. We walk out our office, we walk into theirs. It's and vice versa. They have somebody, oh, go next door, talk to them. That's the way it needs to be. Because when you tell people to go 3 miles somewhere else, or even 2 blocks somewhere else, they tend to get lost.
Mhm.
And it's not working as well as it should work. So when we get that housing aspect nailed down, then yes, then it would be something that I would think that people could replicate elsewhere. But we have to take care of that part first.
Now, for people listening who may be moved by your mission and what they're hearing and viewing today, what's the best way to support your work, and how do they get in contact with Turnaround Ministries?
I'm going to start with the easier part, how to contact us. It's easier to call us on the phone at 401-846-8264, or by email TA_MIN2@verizon.net. That's the best way to contact us. The next part of that, what we need or who we need. We need people who have various skill sets, like finances. We can use another financial person. We could use someone who's had a business to help. We need another funding stream other than the traditional that nonprofits have, which is private donations, foundations, government. We need to be self-sustaining to a certain degree. So we need to have some kind of business that will, one, make money, and two, help us to employ our participants. So we need people with that kind of skill set. Then the part that most people don't want to hear, we need money. And I mean money. We accept the small gifts because the small gifts pay the phone bill. Help us get a bus pass for somebody, get the birth certificate we take. But we also need people to serve on our board of directors. We need people to, like I said, financially support. What we're asking, and I know it's easy for me to say because it's not my money, it's what we're asking for people that really have the ability, or the companies that have the ability to do this. We're asking for, I'd say, $500,000. In the scheme of things, it isn't that much. But what can be done with it? Because again, I'm not just thinking about TAM. I'm thinking about how we can provide services to the people. And that means 500,000 for me to share with other entities, not just for us. I would love if we had that kind of money, but I've never been one to be greedy. And I don't always just think about what Tam needs. Because if I can get other people to work with us, then we all will be fine. Because then we show that this works. Because that's what people need to see, that entities can come together and work together and actually do great work. We can do great work separately, but it takes a lot more work than working together as a team. So having people wanting to get involved with us and help us to do what we're doing, we're looking for it. That's, like I said, unfortunately, that little $sign tends to pop up that we do need money. We're able to do what we do. We're probably the best stewards of money because we don't have a lot to play with. But what money we do get, oh, we know how to stretch it.
Mm-hmm. It's great to meet you, finally meet you after I've heard so much about you. We do go to the breakfast once a month, twice a week, sorry, I don't know, at MLK. And often I hear people, oh, head down to TAM now, or they need something and someone else will say, oh, I bet you can get that at TAM. So it's great to finally make the connection with you and hear all the wonderful things you're doing.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being on Totally Preventable today.
Thank you so much.
And talking to you all. Good to see you again, Greg.
It was my pleasure. My pleasure. It's been a long time.
He doesn't look any different, does he?
Look very
Nope.
Well, thank you for that. And Cheryl, we want to thank you for being a guest today, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Take care.
Bye.